I want to talk to you about something very simple, something most people do every single evening without thinking twice, something that feels normal, comfortable, harmless. But I want to gently suggest that this one evening habit may be quietly working against your blood pressure while you sleep. Not during the day, not when you're active, but at night when your body is supposed to rest, recover, and reset. Many people I speak with are surprised when they learn this, because no one ever explained the connection. You may be doing everything you were advised to do, taking your medications as recommended, trying to eat reasonably well, staying as active as your body allows. And yet, the numbers don't improve the way you hoped. What I want to share today is not about blame, it's about awareness. Because once you understand what's happening in the evening, you can make small changes that may help your body work with you instead of against you. By the end of this video, you'll understand one common evening habit that can keep blood pressure higher during sleep, and more importantly, what you can gently replace it with so your evenings still feel calm and comforting. Let me start with a story. I'll call her Dorothy. Dorothy was in her mid-70s, responsible, organized, careful about her health. She followed instructions closely. She took her medications every morning. She went to her appointments. She walked most mornings, even when she didn't feel like it. She tried to eat sensibly during the day. Breakfast was usually fruit. Lunch might be a salad. Dinner was often chicken or fish with vegetables. From the outside, Dorothy looked like someone who was doing everything right. And yet, her blood pressure reading stayed higher than she expected. Over the years, adjustments were made. One medication became two. Then later, another was added. The numbers would improve briefly, then slowly creep back up again. This was discouraging for her, and honestly, confusing. What no one had really asked Dorothy about was her evening routine. After dinner, Dorothy looked forward to one thing more than anything else: sitting down, relaxing, watching her favorite shows. It was her quiet time. Most evenings, she'd settle into her chair with a warm drink, and almost without thinking, she'd have something small to nibble on. Sometimes crackers with a bit of cheese. Sometimes a cookie someone had brought over. Sometimes cereal that looked healthy on the box. Sometimes toast. Sometimes fruit with yogurt. It never felt like a meal. It felt like a habit, something to do with her hands while she relaxed. She didn't think of it as important. She didn't track it. It was simply part of her evening. What Dorothy didn't realize was that this small habit was affecting what happened inside her body during the night. Not dramatically, not in a way she could feel, but quietly, consistently, night after night. And it was interfering with something very important: sleep. Dorothy often had trouble sleeping. She assumed this was just part of getting older. She would lie awake, wake up during the night, feel tired during the day. Her energy slowly declined. Things she used to enjoy became harder. She noticed her focus wasn't as sharp. Her memory felt less reliable. That worried her. And each time she saw another higher blood pressure reading, the worry grew. What Dorothy didn't know was that her evenings were preventing her body from fully settling into rest. To understand why this matters, we need to talk briefly about how blood pressure normally behaves over 24 hours. Most people think blood pressure is just one number, but in reality, it follows a daily rhythm. In a well-supported body, pressure is a bit higher during the day when you're active. Then in the evening, it gradually lowers. And during sleep, it's meant to drop even further. That nighttime drop is important. It's during sleep that your system gets a chance to recover from the work of the day. Your heart relaxes, your blood vessels ease, your body resets for the next morning. When this nighttime drop doesn't happen properly, the system stays under quiet strain. One of the most common reasons this drop doesn't happen as it should is something very simple: eating too close to bedtime. Not overeating, not eating bad foods, just eating at the wrong time. When you eat in the late evening, your body switches into processing mode. Hormones involved in digestion become active. Your nervous system stays more alert than it should. Instead of fully settling into rest, your body stays slightly switched on. That can affect sleep quality. And when sleep is lighter or more fragmented, blood pressure often stays higher through the night. This is why the timing of food matters just as much as the food itself. Dorothy had no idea that her evening snacks were keeping her system active at a time when it needed to slow down. She was doing something completely ordinary, something millions of people do, and yet it was quietly working against her. In a moment, I'll explain what was changed and what helped her body finally respond. But first, it's important to understand that this isn't about willpower or deprivation. It's about creating an evening routine that supports rest instead of interfering with it. And that's what we'll talk about next. So let me gently explain what was happening inside Dorothy Dorothy's body each night. In simple terms, whenever we eat, the body releases hormones to help process that food. This is completely normal. During the daytime, this works in your favor. You're moving, your muscles are active, your system is prepared to use that energy. But in the evening, your body is preparing for something very different. It's preparing for rest. Metabolism naturally slows, muscle activity decreases. The nervous system is meant to shift into a calmer state. When food comes in late in the evening, especially within a few hours of sleep, that shift gets interrupted. Digestion requires work. Blood flow is redirected. The nervous system stays more alert. Instead of fully settling into rest, the body stays partially active. For many people, this leads to lighter sleep, more awakenings, less time in deep, restorative stages of rest. Even if you don't fully wake up, the body notices. And when sleep is not deep or continuous, blood pressure often doesn't drop the way it's meant to. This is what was happening to Dorothy. Her body never fully powered down at night, so each morning, she started the day already a little bit behind, and over time, that pattern added up. Now here's the important part. The solution was not extreme, and it didn't involve forcing herself to be hungry. What helped was changing the structure of the evening. The first change was very simple. Dorothy stopped eating about 3 hours before bedtime. For her, that meant dinner became the final meal of the day, no snacks afterward. At first, this felt strange. The habit had been there for years. The first few evenings, she felt restless. She reached for food out of routine, not hunger. But something interesting happened within a few days. Her sleep began to change. She started falling asleep more easily. She woke up less during the night. Mornings felt slightly clearer. Then came the second part, which made all the difference. Instead of removing comfort, we replaced it. Dorothy introduced a simple evening ritual, a warm, non-caffeinated drink, something soothing, something to hold while watching television. Not as a treatment, not as a cure, but as a signal. Warmth naturally encourages relaxation. It helps the body shift toward rest. Along with that, she practiced a very gentle breathing pattern. Nothing complicated. Slow inhale through the nose, even slower exhale. Just a couple of minutes. This longer exhale helps the nervous system calm down. It tells the body that it's safe to relax. That combination replaced the snacking habit. Her hands were occupied. Her mind felt settled. Her evenings still felt familiar. The third adjustment involved dinner itself, not changing everything, just being intentional. Dinner became moderate in size, not heavy, not rushed. It included protein and vegetables. Foods that digest more steadily and don't overstimulate the system late in the day. Nothing extreme, nothing restrictive, just supportive. Within about 10 days, Dorothy checked her blood pressure one morning. The numbers were lower than she expected. She checked again over the next few days. The trend continued. What changed wasn't just the number. Her sleep improved. Her energy during the day felt more stable. She felt more like herself again. And most importantly, her body was finally doing what it had been trying to do all along during the night. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not suggesting you stop any medications. I'm not recommending changes without guidance. What I recommend is observation. Pay attention to your evenings. Ask yourself a simple question. Do I give my body a chance to fully rest at night? If you currently eat close to bedtime, consider gently shifting that window earlier. If evenings feel empty without food, replace the habit instead of removing comfort. Warm drinks, quiet rituals, calm breathing, consistent timing, small changes consistently applied. Your body responds to rhythm. Many people are surprised by how quickly sleep quality improves when evenings become calmer, and when sleep improves, blood pressure often follows. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment, giving your system the conditions it needs to reset overnight. Tonight, you don't need to do everything at once. Start with one thing. Eat dinner a little earlier, or skip the evening snack, or add a calming ritual before bed. Notice how you feel. Your body has been working hard for you for years. Sometimes it just needs fewer interruptions, and that's something you can begin gently, starting tonight. I'll see you next time. Dorothy had no idea that her evening snacks were keeping her system active at a time when it needed to slow down. She was doing something completely ordinary, something millions of people do, and yet it was quietly working against her. In a moment, I'll explain what was changed and what helped her body finally respond. But first, it's important to understand that this isn't about willpower or deprivation. It's about creating an evening routine that supports rest instead of interfering with it, and that's what we'll talk about next.